Well, the local community member here at LCO has been doing some Ojibwe language classes at the university, and she sits here now in the studio with me, Sue Osens. Well, tell us how these classes start off and how long has it been going? What do you do? Yeah. Yeah, arts and crafts. Sure. Yeah. Yeah. Oh, okay. Yeah. Okay. Yeah. Okay. Okay. Yeah. Yeah. There's a really nice museum there and lots of, like you said, cultural artifacts. Yes. Hmm. Mm-hmm. Yeah. Mm-hmm. Okay. Okay. Yeah.
So we got a visit from a young man from Potawatomi who's coming to learn Ojibwe from Joyce. And he reminded us that the way that we introduce ourselves at Lakota is part of our connection to the earth and the universe. So we might say, for example, Minokikije, good morning. And I'll introduce myself in Ojibwe right now. Ayanjikwe Indishinakas. Changing Woman is my name. Wabasheshi Nin Dodin. My clan is Martin clan. And Odawa is Abi Iganing and Donjaba. I'm from Lakota, the place of the Odawa people, because the Odawa people, according to our legends, occupied this land before Ojibways migrated from out east and before we made this our home. So it places us in a place in the universe, on this earth, connection to our clans and our family.
Yeah.
So in terms of other things that we talk about, it's really interesting because we talk about cultural differences, dialect differences. You know, some of the elders who are fluent, they can tell where a speaker is from based upon their dialect,
Sure.
the way they pronounce things. When I worked for the Ottawa people as an attorney over in Manistee, Michigan, a few years back, we would speak Ojibwe amongst each other, but they would pronounce a lot more things with P and K in their language in everyday conversation. So then the elder from here would say, oh, they're from over there. They're using a different way of speaking.
Yeah.
And then Mary Moose, well-known speaker, who's a friend of ours at Lakota, she travels throughout Indian country as a first language speaker. Her husband, Leonard Moose, who is buried here, his grandmother is from here. And those elders...
Come on in, Joyce.
Those elders would talk about Leonard Moose and his form of speech, and a lot of people would say, oh, he speaks something like Wadway Dunbun, who passed away.
Okay.
So it was always nice to hear those elders speak.
Sure. I was going to ask, is there any sort of, formal curriculum to what you guys are doing, or is it just a casual conversation and you learn Ojibwe as it's spoken amongst the people, not necessarily from a textbook?
Absolutely. That's a really good question. We do not have any formal instruction plans. It's more of a conversation.
Yeah.
And whatever comes up is something that we all get to share in.
Yeah.
I was just talking to Joyce yesterday about how Vera and Leslie are remembering things from their childhood. So then we get to talk about all those memories that they share with us.
Yeah.
And it's very wonderful.
Very cool.
Just to hear the community speaking.
Yeah.
And we don't have any money or anything. We're not charging anything. But we did get a donation from the council for some Ojibwe dictionaries.
Okay.
We've passed them around now and we'll be asking for more. And the food, we all pitch in. So that cuts down on the cost of one person.
Sure.
Next week, Leslie and Vera, are going to make potato sandwiches.
Okay.
As we talk about the foods that we ate as children and how good they were. We're not running to here and buying processed foods.
Yeah.
We're eating things that their folks fix for them.
Yeah.
So next Monday,
wow,
the ladies are bringing potato sandwiches. We talk about all things like who had any money to go to town. We historically didn't even have a vehicle. Our folks were poor.
Yeah. Yeah.
But we as children, we did things like learn how to make like slushies out of milk and ice.
Right.
So we had our own way. Maybe it was maybe we called it ice cream. But,
Yeah,
just real community-based kind of ways.
sure.
So I'll turn the mic over to Joyce.
Yeah.
She just arrived.
Joyce, pull that microphone in front of you. Yeah, pull that closer to her so we can get some good sound. That would be better. Good morning, Joyce. Glad you could join us.
Oh, great.
Yeah. And so, what has your participation been in these groups besides bringing food and talking about those things? How did you come about to be part of these, and what's your expertise, if you will, in Ojibwe language?
Well, it started when I was small, and my grandma's Ida White Barber and Mary Benjamin Butler. They were both fluent in Ojibwe, and so I hung with them a lot.
Yeah.
And they did not speak English,
Oh, okay.
and so I was with them daily.
Yeah.
My
So-
grandma from Boulevard. It was my mother's mother. She lived down the hill in an old house over there on Post Avenue near the lake. And so I would go visit her every day, and we'd do things exciting. We'd go fishing, we'd go to the store. She had a trail all the way through the woods, all the way to the log cabin store.
Oh, really? Okay. Wow.
And I would follow her
Yeah.
every day. We'd go, and then she had a little dog. His name was Butchie, and of course he'd tag along too.
Yeah.
And my grandma was afraid of dogs, so she carried a great big pole, scared them away.
Yeah.
I never ever saw her hit any dog with it.
Right.
She
She just felt better holding it.
Yeah.
So you grew up with Ojibwe language around you all the time. Is that kind of your first language then?
Well, kind of.
Kind of.
Well, I used to know what they were telling me.
Yeah.
When they bossed me around,
Yeah.
so that I knew what they were saying. And my dad and my mother were both fluent in Ojibwe. So did my grandmas and my Uncle Frank, and he was fluent in the language. So I carried on the sound,
Sure.
pronunciation of the words. So I'm big on pronunciation.
Okay.
So
Yeah.
my spiritual name is Ojibwe, and my clan is Maingan, Wolf Clan.
Okay.
It came from my dad, of course, my dad's side of the family.
Mm-hmm.
And Grandma Butler, she would walk all the way from Signer all the way to Boulevard. She'd stop in Reserve and visit Uncle Max. Uncle Max Butler, he lived there. And then Uncle Frank, who lived in Barbertown. And finally, her last stop was my dad's house. And she'd stay there for about a week or so. And she'd sleep on the floor.
Mm.
And as I knew that she was coming over to visit, I would make a bed on the floor and I would sleep with her.
Yeah. Very cool. So maybe a question for either one of you. Can excuse me, someone who doesn't know any Ojibwe except maybe Boozhoo and Miigwech, are they welcome to come to these classes? A very beginner language person?
Absolutely.
Yeah. How do you get them involved in that conversation?
Well, they can call me. Locally, my number is 715-580-1357.
Okay.
And some people, they don't have an Indian name. They don't know their clan.
Yeah.
They're welcome because we talk about those things.
Mm-hmm.
That's important to us. Our identity. So we help them in feeling more comfortable that maybe they want to get an Indian name or they want to find out who their clan is.
Yeah.
So we have long conversations about that.
Yeah.
And Joyce being a more formal teacher, she's a teacher from the LCO school. She brings certain things with her as far as pronunciation and the graphs that we use in class. We
Mm.
don't always bring them out, but last week, in her absence, we were talking about wanting to be more specific
Yeah.
in our pronunciation. So we brought out the charts
Okay.
and looked at them, incorporated them.
Wow. Very cool. So these are Monday night, you said. What time?
5.
5 o'clock. And goes till 8-ish, whenever they need to close the building up. I'm
Yes.
assuming yeah.
Yes.
And anyone's welcome to come to the classes.
Yes, they are.
Don't have to have any previous language experience whatsoever.
No.
Just a heart to learn
And some
the
people,
language.
they come to join us. They're so afraid because they've never spoken. Maybe they can't remember from one week to the next.
Yeah.
So I do a summary of the last week.
Okay.
And once in a while, I'll give them homework.
Yeah.
Please do this through the week. We have young people that are coming to learn, and they're writing everything down.
Mm. Yeah, I was thinking I should probably come because the last time I did an Ojibwe class was there was a 1 credit class at the college then. This was like 3 years ago. I attended the Ojibwe cultural class, and we had to learn how to say our name and do the introduction. And I can understand it when other people are giving their introductions. I can follow along with what they're saying, but boy, I forgot how to say it myself. And again, I'm stuck with 2 words. So
But that's
so
okay.
yeah.
When I think about the classes that I've taken in Ojibwe language, I purposely register for Intro 101.
Yeah.
And that was with David Bisonette. Because I enjoyed going to listen to him. Not everything is about the language. It's about the history of Lakota
Yeah.
and his interaction with elders. That's what was interesting.
Sure. And that's what I learned too, is that the language is really about the culture. You learn about the culture through the language and how descriptive the words can be, because a lot of people say, well, geez, that's a really long word, because we look at it from a European standpoint, but from an Ojibwe standpoint, it's a very descriptive word because of all the different meanings that come into it. Right, Joyce? How does that happen?
Well, the language is very descriptive.
Yeah.
That's the reason the words seem long,
Yeah.
but they're not really. They're just they're words that are spoken, and they're not that long. It's just our imagination, or from the
Seeing English words
Yeah.
that are so short and spaced out, to where the Ojibwe word can contain a lot of information in just that one word. Yeah, that's really neat to see that. Anything else about the classes that we should be?
Well, we're going to be there through
Yeah.
December.
Through December. Okay. And this is all held at the LCO Ojibwe University
Yes.
in the Cultural Center. So if people walk in the front door at the university, they just turn right and they'll see a door with a saying over the top of it, the Cultural Center. And what time was it again?
5 o'clock.
5 o'clock on Mondays.
And then
Okay.
if you are there a little bit after 5, we go around the side where the round portion of the building is,
Yeah.
and we'll see you.
Okay.
We'll let you in.
Oh, okay. Do the doors lock at 5 o'clock?
They do,
Okay.
but we're always there to keep an eye on people
Yeah.
coming in.
So maybe go around to the right side of the building, like you said, where the outside of the Cultural Center, and just peck at the window,
Yeah.
and
Yeah.
somebody will see you. Yeah. And there's some doors right there at the side too. So
Sure.
that's really cool. Well, good. I think that's it.
Okay.
Thank you for your time coming in. Again, Ojibwe language classes happening at the university. And this is happening on Mondays at 5 o'clock. Joyce will be there. And
George Kubanesi, English cause.
Miigwech.
Ayanjakwe and Dishnakas.
And Susan will be there. Miigwech for coming in and telling us about this. I'm excited. I hope I have time. I gotta look at my calendar, maybe schedule some Mondays out for that. So
That's a difficulty of saying you're going to be there.
yeah,
We're all so busy.
yeah.
Miigwech.
Miigwech.